Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. My name is AJ. Looking to try out this whole streaming and recording thing. So I'm very interested in aviation, not a pilot, namely because I'm too cheap to go pay for lessons, and it wouldn't really have any direct financial benefit to myself or my family. But I've always been interested in aviation. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to pretend to be a pilot. So we're going to go through here. I think I'd like to do the flight training and kind of go from there, see how that goes. So I'm currently running this off my laptop. I'm trying to get the game audio going in the background, but a little bit more mute, softer than the microphone volume. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. The specs of my laptop while this is loading: it's a 8-core Intel i9, a 9880H, 64 gigs of memory, and then has a Quadro RTX 4000 video card, which is somewhere around a 2060 RTX if the internet serves me correctly. So it looks like this first thing is to try and train on what the main control surfaces are. I've been up in a small general aviation aircraft a couple times in the last few months. One of my coworkers was gracious enough to let me ride along. So mildly familiar, but really not a whole lot. Ready to fly.
Welcome to flight training. I'm your instructor, Captain Molina, but you can just call me Jess. This session, we'll get started with some basic controls. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
First things first, let's get familiar with your surroundings.
Probably not going to do a whole lot of talking while
Don't
the
worry.
instructor's talking.
I've got the stick while you get your bearings. Out your side windows, you can see we have great visibility over Sedona today.
So control left.
This is
Up
Red
left
Rock
window.
territory.
Control right.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Control up. Control backwards. I guess looks around your right shoulder. And then I can down, right, up. Oh, way high. Left. And then the right mouse button is just looking around. And then control space. So if I wanted to do something, say I wanted to view the instruments at the same time, like this, I can set that with a Control Alt 1. Cool. And then back to default. And then
See if
Alt
you can
1.
spot the Sedona Airport.
Cool. That's pretty nice.
The runway should be a pretty easy landmark to find.
Again, as a note, I'm not currently flying it. I'm not actually touching the joystick right now.
There you go. Visual
Okay.
confirmation on the airport.
Cool.
Now
Joystick
that
I'm
we're
using is just an old
oriented, it's your
Logitech
turn.
Attack
Time
3.
to fly this bird.
Oh, it's gonna let me fly. Oh, goodness.
The first control on our training list is the yoke. I still remember my first instructor saying the yoke is like a steering wheel. Almost. Sure, you can turn, but you can also pitch.
Again, I'm using a joystick, so not
For
a
starters, it controls the ailerons.
yoke. Whoa.
And the ailerons, they
So I
allow
guess
the
I'm
plane
flying
to
now.
roll and bank into turns.
Down.
Go ahead and try rolling to the right.
Right. Cool.
Nice.
Left.
Now let's see you level back out.
Cool. Way ahead of you, sister. Oh, take it down.
Good.
Left turn.
Of course, the yoke also controls the elevator.
Cool.
And the elevator affects the plane's pitch, right?
Yeah.
Pull back on the stick, the plane starts to climb. Give it a shot.
Cool.
The most valuable things in aviation are speed and altitude.
Down.
But notice, when you're pitching up, your speed is decreasing. You could add more power. Or for now, let's just pitch down.
Yeah, so
Just like that, your
throttle is
speed's
not
picking up again as the nose pitches down.
autopilot for that.
As you level back out, let's talk about another control, the rudders at your feet.
I do not have any rudders.
Rudder pedals control the aircraft's side-to-side movement, also known as yaw. On the ground, those pedals are going to steer the plane left or right. Up here, they properly align us during turns. Try them out and watch the plane's nose skew to either side.
So I've got a couple of my joystick buttons, and they're just
simple enough, right?
If I gently tap it, it pushes the rudder all the way.
Before we go on, let's bring the plane back to
straight-up
flight. Make sure your dashboard is aligned 3 to 4 inches below the horizon for a cruise attitude. Okay, the last thing we're going to cover now is the throttle. If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. Full control over the power output of the engine.
That's all the way up.
Let's see what happens when you cut all the power.
Oh, all the way down.
Surprise, surprise. Our altitude is decreasing. This might be a good time for a piloting PSA. Always keep an eye on your surroundings, because nobody likes a low-flying duck. Alright, let's go ahead and throttle back up.
Done.
There you go. Speed is increasing, and as long as we maintain the same attitude, our altitude will keep climbing too.
Let's see where sit-on is. Back that way. Ooh,
you're really getting the hang of your controls. Before long, you won't even need a co-pilot. Until then, if you want help with the radio or checklists or simply flying the plane, I'll be here. You can pass me the controls when you're ready to finish your session, or keep flying. It is a great day after all.
Going for a gentle turn to the left. I think I'm going to do a flyby of the airport, or a low approach, but not actually land. You can hear the wind speed fall off in the audio as the velocity decreases. It's kind of interesting. I guess I'm lining up with the runway there. I think I want to try and go in at about 80 knots. Let's see, it's about 90. But I'm also going down. Too much. Here, now I should be able to turn into it. There we go. Look at that, nicely lined up. Oops, a little bit too much. It needs to rack left. I guess I could use rudder. Let's see, does that help? Still about 90. Yeah, clearly not a pilot. Oops. I forgot I had that map.
You've left the training airspace. You need to go back.
No, I don't like me doing that. What are you gonna do? Fill me out? No, I fell under about 70 knots. I find it really hard to concentrate on altitude, heading, and speed all at once. Sure, with practice that'll come, but The one time I had my hands on the yoke for a few minutes while flying a 172, I was surprised with how unable I was to maintain a heading and a speed and an altitude. I could do like one of the three good, the second one mediocre, and the third one I wasn't paying any attention to at all. So lots of practice needed. So let's go ahead and hand this back. Control Alt X.
All right, I have control.
Cool.
Good job.
And it looks like that's the end of the lesson. That was exciting. Thanks for joining me. We will try another one next.